they do this thing called cans, and cans is usually when I think a lot of come on Variety, stop playing with me. Cans, I think is a Cans Music Festival or whatever. Anyway, here's the point. All these motherfucking industry people go to Cans. Half of them just fuck each other, and the rest of the half like do businesses and supposedly network. Okay, nigga. You know when I felt like shit? Somebody that worked at Spotify told me that they paid Kendrick Lamar $4 million to perform 30 minutes at Cannes for a private group. I said, what the fuck? Nigga, my contract, I'm not getting paid $4 million this year, and I gotta give y'all like 72, actually it was like 100 podcasts. Actually more than that. I'm like, what the fuck? Y'all niggas gave Kendrick $4 million for a 30-minute performance, nigga? I was tight. All right, come on. This website's acting the fuck up. So, Kendrick's exclusivity, and this is for the K-bots. Y'all can run with this. It's okay. It's okay. I'm gonna give y'all something because y'all know y'all been just too heavily focused on hating on Drake. I'm gotta give you something about your artist that y'all can just yes. What the fuck is up with this website? Okay, yeah, they don't like me blocking the ads. Yeah, so back in 2022, Kendrick wasn't performing nowhere, and apparently he was gonna have some big performance. I can't remember when. He was going to have some big performance. Oh, was this? I don't know when this was. He was going to have some big performance, but he didn't perform nowhere. And for whatever reason, he was like, mad people wanted him to perform. Spotify's, geniuses over there. Love y'all, Spotify. My babies. They showed up and they were at Cannes. So what happens is these big companies go there and they have all these festivities trying to, kind of encourage advertisers, this and third, to come fuck with them. And one of their things was having performers. So their performers, the headliner was Kendrick Lamar. Now, I spoke with one of the people. I won't tell you who. I spoke with one of the people. Actually, I spoke to the person who booked Kendrick Lamar. And when they told me the price they booked Kendrick Lamar for, I threw up in my goddamn mouth, nigga. I said, $4 million fucking dollars for what? But yeah, so again, if he's getting paid $4 million for that, and this is in 2022, now I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't think Coachella would have to cough up over $10 million. Now, Coachella, I believe, is a multi-weekend event. So it's like, right? Am I wrong? Coachella multi-weekend. Yo, Chad, who be just snitching on the industry more than me? Like, I be coming here with all this shit. I tell you who Cardi be fucking. I come over here and tell y'all who's getting dropped. Chad, I ain't gonna lie. After me, there will be no more. It's so good. Yeah. So it's a multi-weekend type of joint, right? So this is one weekend, and then this is the other weekend. So I think that the headliner performs at both weekends. Yeah, you gotta give Kendrick over $10 million. You get what I'm saying? Now, I've seen a site run that, look, all right, let's read this. Coachella's become a victim of his own success. Let's read into it. Now, I don't know if money's going to be an issue. It said, for kids growing up in L.A., attending Coachella is a rite of passage. By the way, this is true. All the rich kids in L.A. go to Coachella. It's kind of like in the Valley. It's specifically there for a reason. Some of these people take helicopters. Apparently, when Coachella's happening, all these rich kids, Calabasas and third, private jets, a lot of shit happens. Damn, my little skeleton fell off. But yeah, people go out and they go check out Coachella. So, the price of the tickets are higher than like a Rolling Loud, and it's seen as a little bit more pristine. So like the performers, if you headline Coachella, like, and I'm spitballing here, I've heard that the headliner for Rolling Loud is like $4 or $5 million. The headliner for Coachella, like, last I heard, was about $8 million, right? Now, granted, if it's Kendrick at this point, you got to pay 10. You know what I'm saying? So just to put in perspective what a headliner looks like. Who's the headliner? It's basically a festival that have a bunch of people on the thing. The guy with the biggest font, the person's performing last, right? Like, you know that, right? Okay, so cool. Let's read this article real quick. For kids growing up in L.A., attending Coachella is a rite of passage. The cool kids got to go to high school, while those of us who worked on the high school newspaper didn't make it until college. By 2011, my first year at the festival, Coachella had become the single most important musical festival in North America, if not the world. I mean, I think, didn't Frank Ocean perform here? Like, I think they gave him a bag. I could tell y'all, I have it in my email how much they gave that nigga. Frank Ocean, Coachella. Or was he scheduled to perform? He never did. You know Frank Ocean don't show up nowhere. So they gave this nigga the bag and a half. This is why this nigga, Coachella be hitting niggas with the bag so crazy. Yo, Variety's hating on me today. All right, fuck you, Variety. Okay, cool. Coachella be giving niggas the bag so much, it incentivizes you not to do no other concerts or just like, because think about this, right? And just think about this. And this is why, like, certain artists, there's mad ways to skin a cat, right? So Drake makes $320 million on his own tour. If you're gonna book Drake, you're spending multi-millions anyway. If you're gonna book him, could Drake headline Coachella? Of course. I don't necessarily think that crowd, especially, is a Drake crowd, because a lot of times these guys, they go for like pristine, not seen, all over the place acts, and Drake is just more available. But here's the thing: Drake by far makes the most amount of money touring. However, think about somebody like Frank Ocean. Maybe does one show a year. When he does that show, he's going to get over $5 million for the one show, right? Now, let's go back to Kendrick. Remember I just said, I think if Kendrick does Coachella 2025, right? I think, by that time his album might be out. So his album might be out. He did Super Bowl. You got to pay him over $10 million, 10, 11, maybe $12 million, right? Just for him to do Coachella. So it's 2 weekends. He's doing 2 performances, probably an hour, hour and a half. So 3 hours of his time, $12 million, 10 to $12 million, right? Just work with me as I try to break it down to y'all. Kendrick just did a whole tour. It made $89 million, or actually it was 96. I think my numbers are off. But it was 96 for how many days? Anyway, his tour average gross was about like $2 million. Like we could pull it up right now, right? I just want to show you why some artists use the exclusivity thing. So look, Kendrick Lamar, Mr. Morale tour. Like I know the number I told you just sounds utterly ridiculous, but it's not. You get what I'm saying? Like Kendrick would get $10 million for it. Like positive. Okay. If we look at his own tour on average is about 1.5 million in gross. So think about this, right? For Kendrick to make $10 million, like remember this is the whole gross of the tour of the event. So Kendrick essentially has to do, so if it's 1.5, 10 divided by 1.5, let me do the math, maybe like 6.5 or 7. So let's 7 shows to get $10 million, right? So he has to do 7 shows to get $10 million. And that's just 10 million gross, but he only probably gets about like 40 to 60% out of that. So really it's more than 10 shows. So again, he probably has to get $10 million in what he would receive, right? Because remember, this is a tour. You got to pay all the expenses. Not 7 shows, maybe 10 shows, like respectfully. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to like play him or make him look no type of weird. Let's say 9 shows, whatever, right? What he would make for 9 shows on his tour, he makes in 2 weekends or for 2 shows at Coachella. So that's a good bag. And why is he worth that much? Well, you're not going to catch Kendrick too many places. So you're going to have to pay the cost to see the boss. And Kendrick's the boss when he hasn't performed anything. So that's the way how people play exclusivity. If you wonder why Frank Ocean's so elusive, that nigga's not just strolling down every motherfucking random street. That nigga plays the exclusivity game. Yo, all right. Yo, I could, it's interesting how Drake works because Drake does more of the quantity stuff. Like Drake puts the work in. These other guys are like, yo, if we're here to get the bag, maybe we're not getting the 320, but we could do 1/10 of the show that Drake does to make, I don't know, 1/3 of what he does, if that makes sense. So exclusivity works like Kendrick has done that a couple of times. Frank Ocean 100% does that, right? It's the reason why you don't see Frank Ocean nowhere. Because when you do see Frank Ocean, the bill has been paid. So again, I only show you about, and again, I'm spitballing here. I haven't heard any solid numbers on Coachella. I'm going off of hearing that Travis Scott, and I have good authority that last time Travis Scott was supposed to headline on Coachella, he was scheduled to be paid $8 million. So I'm looking at Travis at 8 at that time. I'm looking at Kendrick at pretty much the peak of his career. At this point, he's going to do Super Bowl. If he did Super Bowl, then Coachella would have a clause to say, you do no other concerts after the Super Bowl other than Coachella, if y'all were giving Travis 8 back then, you got to give him more. I'm saying at least 10. You get what I'm saying? So that's how I'm coming up with that number, just to be very clear. If you guys are wondering, like, where are you getting these numbers from? You know what I mean? I sourced Travis number, and that's Travis number a couple years ago. Then I'm using that to extrapolate to be Kendrick's number. Okay, cool. And by the way, I do believe whenever Kendrick drops in 2024, I think he's going to be the biggest seller in hip hop. Yes, even if Drake drops an album, I think he'll outsell Drake. I think I've said that before. I think he'll do around 600, maybe 700. I think if Drake drops, and even if he, prepares it like an album, I think we're going to see Drake in the 500 range, and Kendrick will still beat him, okay? At least for this next album, just because of momentum, people thirsting to hear more, and all those other things, right? Cool. So, all right, let me get back to the conversation about Coachella. So let's keep reading, right? It was the first place I saw a hologram perform live. Oh, that's where Tupac hologram was? Oh, cool. In the first place, many Americans